Hey everybody, I'm Chris and I welcome you to the Blue Collar Beer Gentleman. Here on my channel I like to drink craft beer and review it, and I don't like to pay a whole lot of money to do so. So the beers I review on this channel usually come in around the $2 price range. The whole purpose of this channel is to prove that you can drink good beer without having to spend a whole lot of money. And today's selection is no exception to that rule. I paid $2.49 for this pint can of Buenos Tiempos Mexican style lager from Belching Beaver. Buenos Tiempos, excuse me, my Spanish is really bad, but I do know at least that that means good times. Um, and so just real quick here, it says, can we just say we love Mexico, the food, the culture, and the beer? We challenged our brewers to come up with a Mexican-style lager, and they did a damn good job. Crack this open, throw in a lime, sleep on the beach, have a great time. Store cold, drink fresh. This beer is, actually, I did not see, I don't see a brewed on date or an enjoy by date, but I don't think this is a particularly I don't think this is a particularly old beer because I only had 3 friends on Untapped who reviewed it. Now, among those 3 friends, they gave it a cumulative score of 3.58, which is kind of lukewarm. So far, it's had 1,444 reviews on Untapped, giving it a 3.48, once again lukewarm. Beer Advocate had only 9 rankings and giving it a cumulative score of 3.54. Beer Advocate doesn't put the adjective to describe that anymore, so sorry, gang, I don't have anything. Um, this particular beer has a 4.8 ABV, typically Vienna lagers, which is the basis for Mexican lagers, and I will explain Mexican lagers in a minute. But typically Vienna lagers come in between 4.7 and 5.5 on the ABV. This is 4.8. They also typically have between 18 and 30 IBUs. This has 30 IBUs, so it's actually a little bit on the bitter side of that. Real quick information about Mexican-style lagers. After the War of Independence in 1821, German and Austrian immigrants emigrated to Mexico, and they wanted to bring their fondness for Vienna lager there. In particular, Maximilian I, when he became Emperor of Mexico in 1864, he brought his love of Vienna lagers to the Mexico brewers. Typically, what separates a Vienna lager from a Mexican lager, more often than not, of course, naturally, is the environment in which it's brewed, which can have a great deal to do with it, the humidity, the temperature, the elevation, all those things can play a factor. But in specific, Mexican lagers typically have flaked maize. So that's how you make a distinction between a Vienna lager and a Mexican lager. But Mexican lagers did come from German and Austrian immigrants who emigrated into what was at that time known as Texaco, that area that bleeds between Texas and Mexico. Hell, if you go down to some parts of Texas and Mexico right now, you can't tell the difference between the two of them. But anyway, that's where this all started, and that's what it's all about. And as I said, I paid $2.49 for this pint can, so we're doing pretty well. I like Belching Beaver a lot, actually. Belching Beaver is a San Diego brewer, and San Diego is, well, it's lousy with breweries. In fact, you can't find a county in the United States that has more breweries in it than San Diego County. Um, big fan of Belching Beaver. In fact, their get it out in Phantom Bride IPA was one of the beers that I served at the reception at my wedding. So I am going to quit yapping my flap, and we're going to get to drinking some beer here. So I'm going to be using my New Belgium, excuse me, pint glass. This is yeah, okay, this is typically a shaker glass. It's a Boston shaker glass. I know you're not supposed to be drinking beer out of this. I'm not tossing my pint glasses yet. So anyway, maybe I'll make a habit of trying to not review beers out of these glasses, because I know you're not supposed to be drinking out of these. These are supposed to be used exclusively for for mixed cocktails. But anyway, so I'm drinking it out of a pint glass. What are you gonna do? As you can see, that head is gone almost immediately. I mean, there's pretty much no head to it. I wouldn't even call it flimsy. I'd call it transparent. Lots and lots of carbonation in this. This is basically bubbling up and has the color of almost a Pilsner. I'm going to take a quick beard wipe, see what I come across. Smell a lot of malt. I'm going to stick my schnoz directly in, see if I can come up with anything else. A lot of malt, and I smell yeast, and I'm willing to bet they use Pilsner yeast on this because I'm getting sort of that Pilsner yeast smell. Yeah, I'm fairly certain there's Pilsner yeast in this. There's a lot of malt, and you can actually smell that flaked maize. Can definitely smell that flaked maize. Corn smell is coming through, but not in the bad way. Like there's a corn smell that sometimes comes with home brewing that's not great. This is a different story. This is that sweet maize corn kind of corn smell. So anyway, we've got nice color. What you're seeing on the camera is actually very much the color of the beer, and that's great when that happens. That rarely is the case where I can get this color of the beer actually on camera, but it has happened this time. So dig in and start drinking. Cheers. Hmm. Okay. I can understand why this got lukewarm reviews, quite frankly. This is okay. It's not great. And that's why it has lukewarm reviews. It's not bad reviews. It's just not particularly good reviews. 3.58 and 3.48, 3.58, 3.48, and 3.54 are my friends on Untapped in general, and Beer Advocate cumulatively. So we haven't even reached a 3.6 or 3.75 on this scale. Well, I can kind of see why. I think I've got a bug in my beer, but that's okay. A little bit of extra protein. I'm going to describe that as a medium-high mouthfeel, kind of spiky. There's no real alcohol burn. Of course, at 4.8 ABV, you wouldn't really expect much of an alcohol burn. It is crisp, but not quite as crisp as a Pilsner. So, while they may have used Pilsner yeast, it's not a full-fledged Pilsner. It definitely is a Mexican-style lager as opposed to a Pilsner. Flavor is very malty. You can definitely taste the malt. You can get a little bit of the yeast in there. A little bit of sweetness, I think, is coming from the corn, but that comes through mostly on the aftertaste. It's okay. It's refreshing. I mean, 2.49 for a pint can of beer ain't bad at all, particularly one that's made by a craft brewer. But I frankly have to say that so far this is probably my least favorite Belching Beaver beer. And honestly, I think 3.25 is plenty for this. Well, actually, it would get 3.25, but it came in a can, so I'm going to go ahead and give it a 3.5 on Untapped, and that's my score for it. There are better loggers, and I know a lot of you out there say, "Hell, what do you expect from a lager?" And that's a fair point. Loggers are not known for their flavor, but um, this is nothing really to write home about. I've had better loggers, but this is okay. This is okay. Maybe I need. Well, maybe I'm going to give this. Yeah, I'm going to give it a 3.5. I think that's about right. I think that's a good score to give this. But here it is, the can. Beautiful artwork. Love that label. Absolutely fantastic. And oh no, it's a good beer. It's an enjoyable beer. I'll put it to you this way: if I got to a bar and this was the only craft beer on tap, I'd drink it and drink it gladly. So, as I said, a 3.5 I think is about what this beer deserves. Well, hey folks, if you like this video, please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And until next time, drink good beer and don't break the bank doing it. Cheers.